In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a property guru by the name of Kevin McDonnell.
Why not just put down as little as £1 to acquire the already existing mortgage?
Sorry, can I say shit on the floor in this video?
Specifically, we're going to look at some of the claims that he's actually made and see whether or not he's being truthful or he's actually lying. And what you'll find is so shocking, so make sure you watch all the way up until the end. So look, the first time I actually came across Kevin is when he made a video about me.
Wow, that is Yusuf Sheikh sharing a video on his Instagram.
Reviewing a video that I'd put out there on social media, and this video was of me speaking to a landlord over the phone and obviously trying to convince her to give me a rent-to-rent deal. And this is of course where we're renting properties from landlords, and with their permission we're reletting it out on places like Airbnb and booking.com night by night. But in this video he made about me, he claimed that I was lying, I was gaslighting the landlord. Even in the description I saw somewhere that said fake influencer. Like, this guy was sending some serious shots my way out of nowhere. So when I first saw this I was like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. And mind you, Kevin McDonnell actually works with Progressive Property. Now, for those of you that don't know, they are one of the largest, if not the largest, property training company in the UK. So when he was saying a lot of the things that he was saying about me, initially I thought, okay, he must be telling the truth. I must have made a mistake because these guys, they've been in the game for literally years, if not decades. I think Progressive Property, they've been about since 2006 or 2007, something like that. And me, myself, I've only been doing this for a couple of years. And you know what? I thought I was so wrong that I actually commented on their videos. I said, hey, look, I put my hands up, I made a mistake. But then at the same time, it just didn't make logical sense to me that they were saying I was lying about some of the claims that I was making. So I decided to do some investigating of my own, and I was shocked the information that I found out. So I'm making this video not only to defend myself, but to also shine a light on these guys and where they went wrong. Now look, when Kevin was reviewing one of my videos, one of the things that he actually said was I was lying to the landlord because I was telling her that I couldn't tell her who's going to be in the property because of GDPR rules. The problem when it comes to, you know, letting you know and informing you about the details of people that are staying there, you know, their names, who they are, etc., is we have to be careful when it comes to treading on GDPR rules. Now, for those of you that don't know, GDPR rules simply means your, responsibility to protect your customers' data and information. And this right here is what Kevin says.
Now, the landlord is clearly concerned that they won't know who's going to be staying in the property, and rightly so. And what he's saying is, under GDPR, he can't share with her the details of those staying there. Well, that's not true, because GDPR has got nothing to do with sharing with a landlord who's going to be staying in their property.
Wow, you actually just said that. Well, I meant to tell you, Kevin, that that's not actually true, because it depends on the contract that you have with the landlord themselves. Now look, if you're a managing agent that's managing the property on behalf of the landlord, yes, that's completely different. You have to notify them about everyone you'll be putting in there, 100%. But if you're a rent-to-renter, renting the property from the landlord and then reletting it out, that's completely different.
The landlord is the landlord and you're the managing agent.
No, you're not, Kevin. You're not the managing agent, you're the tenant. If you're doing a rent-to-rent with the landlord, you're the tenant and not a managing agent. Did you not know that? All right, cool. So let me educate you a little bit, Kevin. So if I'm doing a rent-to-rent with a landlord, I am a tenant with the right to sublet the property out to other people. Now, unless the contract states otherwise, the landlord has no GDPR rights to get the information of the guests or the people that will be accommodating in that property. And this is especially true if we're talking about service accommodation as well, because on the phone, this is what I was pitching to the landlord. I was pitching them the idea of a rent-to-rent service accommodation. Now, what I'm saying to you right now, I made sure that I triple checked this with solicitors, GDPR experts, and everything in between. And on top of that as well, according to the ICO, or the Information Commissioner's Office, the only time I'm allowed to share my guests' information or the people that will be accommodating in that property out to other people is if there's a lawful basis on it and it's necessary and proportionate, and also if I get the guests' consent as well. So when I say lawful basis, I mean, for example, if I was given a court order, if there was some criminal activity taking place in the property that required, police to get involved and all these different things. In those cases, yes, I'm 100% obliged to share the information with the people that I've accommodated to whatever party requires that information. Outside of this, the landlord technically has no GDPR rights to get the information of the people that I will be subletting the property out to. And the reason for this is because the contract that's going to be in place, it's not going to be between the landlord and the person that I'm subletting the property to. There's a separate agreement that I have with the individual that I'm going to be subletting the property to. The landlord doesn't have an agreement agreement with that particular individual. So based on this, they have no GDPR rights to get the information of the guests that I will be accommodating. Kevin, did you actually not know that? For someone that works for the largest property training company in the UK, surely you'd know that. Like, wow. You blew my mind, Kevin. I'll give you that. Now look, for landlords that genuinely want to know who's going to be staying in the property, if they are renting their properties out to someone that's doing a rent to rent, you need to make sure that the contract stipulates that you require the information of anyone they put into your property. But not only that as well, they will then need to get consent from the people they will be subletting the property to in order to do this lawfully. So now let's take more of a listen to Kevy trying to educate us some more.
Not only that, by the way, if you do, say, multi-let, like HMO or single-let, rent to rent, one of your tenants, if there's ever a problem with them, let's say they don't pay the rent, there's antisocial behavior, that can happen if you own one or rent one, by the way, and you want to go to court with that tenant, only the landlord can evict them.
Wow, you really just said that, Kevy. That is not true at all. So allow me to educate you some more on this matter right here. When you have a rent to rent contract with a landlord, you essentially become the immediate landlord, and the landlord himself or the property owner, they become the superior landlord. Now, because you as the immediate landlord have leased the property from the superior landlord or the property owner, the agreement is between you two. The superior landlord or the property owner doesn't actually have an agreement with the person that you decide to sublet the property to. And because of that, they cannot evict them. They can only evict you, the immediate landlord, from the property because they only have an agreement with you and not the people that you sublet the property to. Now, let's take a look at an email that a specialist had to say about this matter when I inquired about it. It says a court order is an order from the court to end a contractual agreement. Therefore, because the owner / superior landlord does not have a contractual agreement with the subtenant, there is no contract to enforce and he cannot attempt to gain possession of his property from them. However, the owner / superior landlord does have a contractual agreement with the tenant / rent to rent operator. So this can be ended by the court to regain possession of the property. By the way, massive shout out to HF Assist. They're the ones that actually helped me out with this matter by giving me legal advice around this case. So if anyone's looking for legal advice around rent to rent, property management or property lettings, they're the people you need to shout out. But look, if I were a managing agent, if I was simply managing the property on behalf of the landlord, that will be completely different because in that scenario, I am not the tenant. So yes, the landlord could evict the person that I put in there if I was simply managing the property on behalf of the landlord, because the person that's staying in there now is actually the tenants of the landlord. Or let's say, for example, I had a rent to rent with the landlord, but then I decided to break the deal and just walk away from the deal. Well, in that scenario, the people that I have sublet the property out to, because I've now walked away from the contract, those people, those individuals that are staying in the property automatically become the tenants of the superior landlord. Again, Kevin, did you actually not know what I'm telling you right now?
There is a lot of people out there telling you stuff around how to do property, and it's not the way that you get deals.
Yes, mate, that's you. You're definitely one of those people, mate, on that list that you're talking about. So Kevin got that part right there completely wrong. But going back to the GDPR point that he tried to discredit me about earlier on, let's refer to the email that was sent to me by a legal specialist on this matter. On an agency agreement, the owner would be entitled to all the details for the tenants, and on a rent to rent agreement, the owner will not have any authority to be given the subtenant's details. Kevy, my boy, this is not looking good for you.
There's a lot of stuff out there on social media. There's a lot of hype on social media, and many people are telling you a certain way to do things, and it just doesn't work.
You know what? I actually agree with you on that part that you just said right there, but at the same time, you try link me to that as well, so obviously there's a problem with that. And I think some of my clients will have something to say about what you're saying as well. For example, my client Andrew, he was able to get started off with his rent to rent business, and in just a little over a year and a half, he was able to scale it to £10,000 per month in profit. Or my client Lauren and her partner Leon, who started working together with me, and 14 months later were able to secure 38 rent to rent deals that will be generating them a total of £33,000 per month in profit. Or my client Daniel, who got this business to £5,000 per month in profit 7 months after starting. I think you get my point. I've got success stories and testimonials for days, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can go on my YouTube channel and you can actually see me interviewing my clients where they speak about the progress that they've made and also their experience as well. And you can also check this out on my website too. But let's take a look at something else now. Why did Kevin actually do this to himself? Like, I'm just here chilling, doing my thing, showing people the game, and this guy decides to make a video about me and go out of his way. Let's be real. The real reason was for engagement and attention as well. And let's also be very honest. I've got a much bigger platform than you. I'm not talking about progressive property. I'm talking about you specifically, Kevin McDonnell. I have a bigger platform than you. And because you saw that I have a big platform, you wanted to take some of that attention and engagement that was coming my way and direct it to come your way. Look, I get it. There's a new marketing team in place at Progressive. They wanted to try new things. They wanted to be a bit hip, a bit cool, make you a bit cool with it. But in the process, they ended up making you look pretty bad. So yeah, I would consider getting a new marketing team on that. But look, Kevin, as much as you may be displeased about me making this video debunking your claims, you should actually be thanking me. The information I'm sharing and teaching to you on this video right here, you can actually now take that, put that in your program, and then obviously teach it to the masses. So look, you try to discredit me, you try to say I was lying, you even try to say that I wouldn't even let landlords view the property if I had taken it on a rent to rent.
This guy will probably not even let the landlord view the house.
Even though in that same video you reviewed, the longer version, I clearly state to the landlord that yes, I'd be more than happy to let you view the property.
Could I visit the property at all or not?
If we're scheduling things ahead of time and there's a good notice period, 100%, we can definitely arrange a time, arrange a day to allow you to obviously come visit the property. So you chose to ignore the much longer video that I put out there on my social media that you reviewed, by the way, but instead you chose to focus on a 90-second clip that I put out there of that same call I had with the landlord, and you try to discredit me and you try to say that I was lying and you try to say that I would never even let the landlord view the property. So you lied about that part too, Kevin. Congratulations, my man. Now look, I ain't got no beef with progressive property. I actually love Rob Moore, by the way. You know, I used to listen to him quite a lot back in the day. I've learned a lot from him, etc, etc. But I don't even have no beef with Kevin McDonnell as well. He went out of his way to make a video about me, to try take shots at me, and to try to say what I was saying to the landlord was false, when in actuality, what he was saying about what I was saying to the landlord was completely false. So I had to come on here, address Kevin, debunk some of the claims that he made, and actually show him what's what and teach him what's what as well. So Kevin, if you're watching this, hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully I was able to educate you on a few bits and bobs, and also send my love to the progressive team.